Let's go.
Let's see. Yeah. All right. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Welcome back, everyone, to Odys Talks. Naturally, this show is brought to you by Odys Global, your one-stop marketplace for age domains and websites, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You know the stuff. Yeah, as you can see, I'm joined by Robert Niechcial, Charles Floate, and Massimiliano Geraci today. So,
hello, guys. It's a pleasure.
I'm hearing myself from some...
For sure, you are selling great domains, but not great internet connections.
Damn, I can't find...
On that side, you need to improve.
Yeah, definitely. Damn.
Hello, guys.
Okay, now I found the tab that shouldn't have been turned on, but it was. And I've been hearing myself talking. All right, yeah, so welcome back to all three of you. Just go and introduce yourselves, and then we'll just dive deep in whatever you're doing right now and how things have improved for you in terms of taking advantage of the AI technologies today, right? For your businesses and whatever projects you're involved in. So, Robert, just go on.
Yeah, just to start, I'm happy to be back in English, let's say global communication. I was focusing last month only on Polish market, but happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. So I'm Robert. I'm from Poland. I'm CTO at Vestigio and also active investor. And last week I said as Vestigio AI is an AI accelerator for AI projects and also running Sensei Academy. It's extensive AI course. Today is only for Polish market. Next year we are going global with it and want to show our, let's say, secret sauce.
Yeah, I'm Charles Floate. I've been in SEO for about 15 years or so now.
Awesome.
I've run different SaaS
Charles.
companies. Yep. Am I muted?
No, you're not. Let's go.
I thought I was lagging. Sorry. Yeah, I'm Charles Floate. I've been in SEO for about 15 years now. I'm generally an SEO consultant, but I also work on different SaaS projects, including Tokenization AI, Parasite SEO, and a bunch of other products. I run Charles Floate training, and my day-to-day is generally just sit in the SERPs and kind of geek out around what changes Google are making and how we can adapt and manipulate to them.
Max Geraci. I'm in digital technologies and market since 30 years now. I started with multimedia CD-ROMs before the commercial internet. I've had a career as a researcher at a university in computational linguistics, and now I run a small agency in northern Italy, but now I'm more focused on product development like Entities Checker, that is a free application that is quite known in the community, and WordPress stuff.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Let's kick things off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
And we are live. I just really hope that my internet connection will be as stable as possible, and then I'm not lagging too badly. But yeah. So first off, as I mentioned in my intro, all three of you are heavily involved in all things AI lately, even in Parasite SEO, right, Charles? Mm-hmm. So I would like to ask each one of you to, I don't know, either briefly or not briefly, just tell everyone about your current projects and what you're doing and how you're implementing AI in your businesses in particular. So Robert, obviously you're having this big Sensei project right now. So not everyone understands what it's all about, because when you're posting about it, it's all in Polish.
Sorry for it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you have to translate it. So yeah, just...
Yeah. Yeah, so... Yeah, I'm waking up with AI and going to sleep with AI. In the middle, while I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about AI. So it is how it is. But the thing is, I don't like to talk about myself. I will talk about my students, about the clients, about the companies we are talking with, and they are trying to implement AI like everywhere.
Cool.
Let me give you an example. We performed the private workshop for Danone. Danone is one of the biggest food corporation in the world. I mean, yogurts, milk, and stuff. And for example, they want to implement AI to forecasting the price of milk in Europe, and they want to use, for example, vision models and get satellite data and satellite pictures of grass. Because if the grass is green, cows will go and just eat it and produce more milk. So, for example, milk will be cheaper on the market. Or if there is a high temperature, there won't be so much grass in the fields, and the price of milk will be higher. So it's super exciting project that Danone is performing right now. And also, what's funny, they are also want to use same vision models and AI in general to collect trends from, let's say, TikTok, YouTube, and social media from food influencers, and get information about the trends in food in general in the world. And they want to predict what will be trending in the future, and produce yogurts in Europe, actually in the world, with same flavor, for example, acai or spirulina, or I don't know, some fancy yogurt tastes. So the needs are amazing. Also, we are working with typical SEO and marketing companies. They want always to produce better content, better optimization, prepare themselves for AI search, prepare themselves for, let's say, going to different markets, let's say, market expansion in Europe. So yeah, there's a lot of needs. And at the end of the day, the technology we have today, technology is able to deliver even these crazy ideas from Danone. So yeah, there's a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, that's definitely some crazy hello stuff.
Before we move to the next one, Max,
behind this,
I want to say one thing. I saw your book, Table of Content.
Yes.
It's amazing. I'm waiting for the book. I want one book with a signature only for me, and
I'll finish it in Thailand. I'll write it in the next 2 months in Thailand. I'll finish it, and in January.
I highly recommend this book to everyone in SEO space. Great one.
Thank you.
All right, since you guys mentioned it, Max, why wouldn't you tell us about the book?
Yeah, I started writing a book a couple of months ago while preparing my presentation for an IRL conference in Toronto. And it was about NLP for SEO, because SEOs generally knows really not so much about NLP. They know the Google NLP API or similar services, so they associate an NLP with sentiment analysis or entities recognition extraction. But at the end of the day, it's more data analysis. And the point is that an SEO cannot leverage NLP until he has some theoretical knowledge. When you have enough theoretical knowledge, you can really guide a model to develop complex scripts for you. Now that we have the O1 family from OpenAI that can handle more than 1,000 lines of Python code, for example, you can easily develop a script for topic modeling analysis, for example. But you really need to know the theory behind it and the parameters that you need to tweak, and also the automation method that you can integrate. If you really know some theory, you can direct and ask exactly an LLM what to do for you. And in fact, the book will be divided in 4 chapters for for big areas of interest for SEOs, like clusterization, like network graph analysis, that is really useful to understand the structure of the website and how the information flow to across the website, to find disconnected areas or topical clusters that are not enough interconnected, interlinked between them, and so on. And then another important area has to do with entities, for sure. And then, yeah, we have the RAG systems like information retrieval mixed with AI for generating content. So you use old information retrieval techniques to provide and feed to a model some information to ground its generation. And so while I was taking my notes for the conference, I've noticed that I started to write really too much to present in 30 minutes. And so I decided to write a book to show applications of natural language processing, like, for example, you can do topic modeling and a topic gap analysis confronting two websites. Or you can represent the whole website like a network graph. Each URL is a node, and the edges represent different relations, like as link for an internal link, as topic for a topic, is similar to another page, and so on. You can add your performance data, and you can use machine learning to understand, for example, how you interlink the pages. Maybe you interlink pages with a lot of clicks or impressions, but with different topics and so on. And you can train a model to predict new links for you based on the links that are actually working, because it can check the performance data and iterate and suggest different links based on the performance that it checks every 15 days, for example. So I like this possibility to use NLP plus AI for mass automation of some SEO tasks, and also the execution. Now that we are moving to agents, Anthropic yesterday released a new model that is really impressive, because it's capable to control your local machine, a computer, and it has an agentic approach. So the future of the models will be in being agents, so you can assign them a task and they can autonomously decide what they have to do, and also swarms of agents. So the orchestration of the agents will be a big thing in the future. So again, the book will be, I hope, easily readable for SEO, actionable. I'll also distribute some code, some collabs, as I like to do. And so it's a set of knowledge and tools that can be immediately used. So I hope that some of the concepts will start to be used correctly, because in the community there are some SEOs without an academic background, just using some fancy jargon from patents, from theory, and honestly, they are creating a lot of confusion. So as a researcher in my previous life, I cannot read some of the posts that I see, and I decided to write a book to try to explain correctly.
Great. Good for you. Is it going to be published in English?
Amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, definitely waiting for that book.
It is written in English. It is written using AI. So I'll explain in the presentation how I used it. So don't go to an AI detector or some stupid software like that to put a text and say, oh, it was written by AI. Yes, AI is my partner in writing, editing, discussing, whatever.
Yeah, co-authored by ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. I'll declare the two models I use as folders for sure.
Wow. That's some transparent transparent work. While we still haven't moved on from you, you also mentioned the other day that you've integrated several new features in your Stacking Cloud tools.
In this Stacking Cloud, there is
so what are they?
Tool that is essentially a multi-site integration of WordPress, and it's sold as a SaaS. We developed a set of plugins. You can design your website using our live canvas builder. That is a very special builder on the market. It's the fastest builder on the market. It integrates an HTML editor, so you can tweak every section, every block, just editing the HTML or CSS. The code is super clean, not a single line of code that you don't need. So this is the stack at the core of the tool. Then once you create your website, you can deploy it by FTP or to 12 different clouds. What we just implemented is AI, but not AI to write articles, for example. It's an AI integrated in the builder so that you can create the content for the page you're working on. You can create the content section by section. You use background information and also the information on the page. But the other point is that we integrated it at code level. So from the chat that you have inside the builder, you can ask the system even to change a font, to change a background, whatever you want. So it can work on the text and on the front end, how it appears at the same time. So you can tell it, write about my product. You describe your product as a background information, and you can also tell, okay, put a photo, create 2 columns, or whatever you want. And just in one shot, it will create it for you. And now we just released a new screenshot to code integration. So if you don't like the ready-made section that we present you, you can just go on a website of, let's say, Gutenberg blocks, UI kits, or just a website that you like with an original design. You take a screenshot of a section, you upload it to the system, and in 10 seconds, you will have the section ready for you. It's based on Bootstrap, and so it will create a code that uses the classes of Bootstrap, and again, it's like magic when you can just upload a section and find it there with a text, with a photo, with whatever you want, and just click and edit it. So it's very, very easy to extend infinitely the gallery of sections we provide, because you can just upload yours. And we are starting to create a whole page from a screenshot. For now, we are just doing the sections, but we are working to generate a whole template in just one click and then deploy to the cloud. You can also create the clones. You just change the fonts and colors. Again, we use AI to generate palettes. And you choose a palette. In 5 seconds, we recompile all the CSS on the fly, and you see the results. So you can clone a website, repurpose the content with AI, change colors and fonts with AI, and just deploy to 10, 12 different clouds. Use them as buffers, hammer them with GSA, with PBNs, whatever you want. And it's the exact strategy I'm using right now for recovery, some websites, even in the casino space, and great results. From page 3 to position 6, just using a bunch of cloud sites and then a lot of links. But don't do clouds on the topic of casino. Google will never index them. I tried everything. So now I'm doing lifestyle, sports. It is indexed in 2 days. And then I created the links. But I was surprised because it's the first and the only niche which Google refuses to index for clouds. Even the clouds that are indexed in 2 days, like Bunny or Azure, don't write the word casino in it.
Wow, that's curious. That's interesting. All right, Charles, tell us about ParasiteSEO.com that you co-founded with James Oliver and Alex Ivanovsky, as far as I remember, and a few other guys. So
nice.
Yeah, it's also implements AI, as far as I understand, to some extent. So how did you guys come up with the idea, and how did you make it all work? I mean, just could you give us a little glance at behind the scenes of this project, product, tool, SaaS, whatever you call it?
Yeah. So essentially, what we did was the entire platform itself, in some way or another, basically runs on AI. To be fair, without AI, we wouldn't be able to do the sort of level of categorization and things like that we're doing at the moment. So what we do essentially right now is we've got a manual database that we've used AI to categorize our manual database. That categorization is then fed into a scraper, which predominantly, to be fair, based on the categorization, is pulling CMS versions, right, and things like that. It's not actually, and that's for the free parasites. Sorry, for the paid parasites, it's a bit of a different system. And paid parasites also have to be manually verified and things like that on top of it. But we're building this database via essentially starting with a manual database, having a scraper that is categorized via CMS and various other things. And then we input, again, manually, a set list of keywords, which then the AI blows up to, I think I can't remember what we're at last time. Alex has been doing it. I think we're at something like 100 million keywords or something like that we're scraping between 25 different countries, right? And we scrape them once per month. And all we're doing is categorizing the sites in our database based on how well they rank for the different categorized keywords of those 100 million keywords, right? And so we know that this website that's you can buy sponsored editorials on for Parasite pages is does really, really well for weight loss. And this one does really, really well for casino. And this one does really, really well in the UK. And this one does really, really well in Japan and things like that, right? And all we have to do is essentially set that scraper onto a different set of keywords per country. And that's allowing us to get all the free parasites back. And then once you've got the free parasites, you just go and look for reoccurring keywords that they're all ranking for. And you go and find the paid parasites that are in those reoccurring keywords. And you add those back into the database manually, right? So the entire system is effectively powered by AI to actually create the categorization, the ranking systems, the topical authority systems, all of it. And then once you put your keyword into the system, you'll get back the current ranking parasites, the free parasite opportunities that we've done based on that categorization. But you'll also be able to get the AI to generate a campaign brief for you. So what we can do then is, again, like Max just said, we can use things like Cloudflare agents, and we can send those Cloudflare agents out to visit the specific sites that are ranking in the top 10, maybe even the top 100 for that SERP. We'll pull back. We can then use that data to create a content brief to further analyze what pages we should be recommending for the sites to actually rank in, to do all this additional stuff. And basically what it then does is output that into a usable brief. And it's outputted in JSON, but it's actually formatted so you can download it in a PDF file, right, for the end user. But it formats out in a really easy readable way, so that anybody can effectively commit to doing a parasite campaign for any keyword, right?
Nice.
Charles, I have an extra question just for clarification. So you have the database of free parasite domains plus paid one, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we've got two. So they're two separate databases, and they are, but they are. We're using basically a different weighting system to rate how well they are ranking topically for different keyword topics.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we've got subcategories and things like that. And the AI has been expanding it more and more. And bear in mind, every time a user puts in a keyword, we're adding that keyword back to our scraping database and adding that if the categories are missing from our original database, that keyword has been categorized again by the AI, that's getting added back into our database. So we're building more and more keywords, more and more sites, more and more categories every day, basically, from users using the tool.
Great. I subscribed it immediately, but just the basic tier, so it had access only to the free database. But now I want to try the access to the paid ones because I have this
I'd love to
and,
see what you think from the Italian database and stuff as well and things. And just,
we're
looking
sure.
for feedback.
I'll write you because I have a specific project and maybe we can even talk about it, and I will test it for both Italy and Mexico where I'm working right now.
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
With Odys. Odys is one of my providers for this project. Yeah.
I really like the word easable. You said easily readable.
Easable. Yes.
Easable.
Yeah. Cool term.
Easable. Charles, is it correct in English?
No, I just came up with that.
And the overtures, yeah.
It's just a hallucination, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. AI hallucinations coming into real life.
You should coin it and you should trademark it.
It's easable. That'll be my next book. Right.
Yeah. Easable by Charles Floate. Yeah. So as we've all heard, understood, and seen, like each one of you is putting a huge emphasis on AI in your work, right? And considering that all three of you are tightly connected to the SEO industry, right? Even though you're working in different segments, well, Robert in particular is more into education right now, like teaching others, stuff like that. How do you see, let's say, the further development of this tech and combination of the industry in terms of, let's say, not just using it for writing content or generating visual content, but in terms of scaling future endeavors, let's say, like what you did, Charles, right, with Parasite SEO.com. But this is just one case of its use, right? There are so many other ways it could potentially be used, not just text, coding, for example, like Max did with Stacking Cloud. What are your expectations, or probably not even expectations, but probably plans in development that you would be willing to share when it comes to marrying AI and SEO or other aspects of your businesses that you're invested in today?
Yeah. So just to make it clear that the technology is unstoppable, not easable, but unstoppable. And let me give you a few examples. For example, 3 weeks ago, the BlackRock, this investing fund, put $31 billion just for data centers. On last Friday, I saw the news that Google signed the contract for nuclear plants just to empower the AI systems. Microsoft also announced that they are trying to raise old nuclear plants just to empower the data centers. So the technology is unstoppable, and we as the SEO and the industry need to just to use it as much as possible. Otherwise, we will be, let's say, out of the business. And as from business perspective and SEO perspective, I truly believe that the regular SEO is already over. I mean, just good practices in the SEO field. We are doing like this: 300 words in content in minimum, using, let's say, keyword stuffing or keyword simple keyword optimization. And we already started the era of engineers in SEO. So I truly encourage everyone to look for the technology and adapt in all possible fields, like text analysis, entity extraction, topical maps, knowledge graphs, re-ranking systems, causing similarities, and all stuff. It's new tools in SEO field, and we have to not forget, but skip tools like Screaming Frog or I don't know, Core Web Vitals and this sort of stuff, because it's already history. And then, yeah, it is how it is. And I'm investing a lot in it, in my educational company, to show how it works and prepare, especially business, to survive in following years. And also I invest in a programmatic SEO company. And I truly believe it's a great moment to scale globally, taking advantage of the technology right now. Sorry for my voice. Yeah, so welcome to the era of engineers.
Yeah, personally,
right.
what I'm working
What about
on
you
right
guys?
now is I have my scripts, my Python scripts for doing data analysis of different kind. Okay. For example, calculate the internal page rank of a page, or topic modeling, so assign each page to a topic, or analysis of Search Console data to check the underperforming CTR of a page. The point is, for me, implementing AI in two directions. First of all, feeding the AI with the results of an analysis. I mean, an Excel file, a complex sheet with thousands of lines, and also the visualizations I generate from the report. But then the AI generates a human readable, easily readable report for you. And this is something that I'm testing because trying to implement, to bring to the market analysis like that, because people even don't know that they can need something of this. So you should educate the clients for years. But if you are able to automate the report generation without data analyst, because many even enterprises don't have a data analyst team inside, can be very useful. And also, once you generate the first report, we create a vector database and also a relational database with your data, and you can continue to chat with the data. So to ask specific questions, we create a set of functions for example, filtering the data and whatever. And so the AI understand that before answering, it has to perform another script, for example, for filtering the data, and then commenting on the filtered data. So this is the first thing I'm working on right now. And I have to say that I'm quite satisfied. I'll offer something for the Black Friday, this kind of analysis with another amazing SEO, but I cannot tell more right now. We'll start to promote this service soon, just to show the market what is possible to do with NLP plus AI. And the other thing is creating SEO agents. For now, the only tool on the market is from WordLift. WordLift has its own API, and this agent can call the API for extract entities from a page, but can call also the Search Console API to extract the performance data from that page, and to write for you a paragraph with the missing entities that are scraped from the SERP, for example. I'm working on something similar. So an agent that can call different APIs, like again, Search Console, third parties API like data for SEO, but also my own API. So I create APIs from my script, a script for text analysis, for example, and the LLM can call it. So I can tell the LLM which is my location, which is my keyword, and it will call my API, scrape the SERP, perform different topic modeling techniques and entities extractions, and just provide me the list of recommendation, the words that I should insert in my article. And then I ask it, okay, write the article using those words. And so a way to use a tool, but with a natural language interface. And it's the agent that should understand, depending on the question, which analysis or which data he has to pull and to perform, and then answer in a way that is understandable by anyone. So these are the two research fields in which I'm moving right now for the next SaaS or for the next series of analysis sold as services to enterprise. This is the idea.
Hopefully I haven't lost Vlad.
Awesome. Wow. All right. What about you, Charles?
Yeah, so I would have given you a very different answer about 3 weeks ago, to be fair. 2 weeks ago, I went to the Empire Flippers Mastermind in Phuket, and I sat in a room with a bunch of like VC funds and private equity and some very successful people like Neil Patel's business partner, Eric Su, and Patrick Campbell, who was very, very interesting to speak to. Patrick was an NSA analyst turned financial analyst turned financial SaaS founder, which he then sold to Paddle for $250 million. And listening to his advice around where AI is moving towards, what he's using it for, especially because I think actually the only community that has any idea realistically close to what these companies are up to is the intelligence community, actually, right? Like we, the SEOs, everybody else, we're literally just guessing at this point, right? But they've got some pretty big ins and some pretty big, research available to them that we just don't have access to, unfortunately. And GPT-4 cost $100 million to train, or maybe $108 million, something like that. That was around the figure it cost to train. GPT-5 is costing $2 billion to train, right? And GPT-6 is probably going to cost about $10 billion to train, right? GPT-5 is already finished training, training in August, bear in mind, right? The end of August. So we know that it's a ticking time bomb until this thing releases to the public. And we know that the current leadership, which is generally Sam Altman and some control by Microsoft that have kind of, collates power inside the company, are pushing that ship date as soon as possible, right? Their safety concerns and all that kind of stuff, that went out the window a long time ago, unfortunately, right? As a result of this next model generation coming out, I genuinely think that most of the SaaSes that are built on top of GPT-4, a lot of these content, keyword research, the image generations, coding platforms, even things like Cursor and stuff, I think they will probably maybe not go to zero, but they will be massively disrupted by this next generation of model and the features that it has got access to. So what I'm trying to personally do as a result of learning a lot more in the last couple of weeks and doing a lot of heavy analysis into where I think this technology is moving towards, I'm personally stacking a lot of capital, putting a lot of time into my current businesses that I think some of them are eventually, unfortunately, going to be destroyed by these next generation of models. But I'll try and get my exit as soon as I possibly can, to be fair, out of them. As I think a lot of people, if you're out there listening, you're a SaaS founder, you should, and you're reliant on that technology, you should probably be looking at doing the same thing. And I'll use that capital once I have built it up and the next generation of models comes out. I'll then use that in that level of technology, because I don't think GPT-6 will come out for at least 2, 3, maybe 4 years after GPT-5, and there won't be a massive jump in technology until that happens, because nobody else has the money to do this, right? No, like Anthropic don't have $10 billion to train GPT-6, unfortunately. Only OpenAI and Microsoft currently, and to some extent Google. But Google have lost such a massive market cap share that their investment levels are just different to Microsoft now. Microsoft are worth $1 trillion more than Google and Alphabet are, right? And that gives you a lot of sway with banks, a lot of sway with credit lenders, a lot of sway to raise capital considerably at a higher level and considerably at a generally cheaper rate than Google will be able to do, especially off the back of the performance of the stock and all that kind of thing for the last couple of months, and just the generally disastrous PR stuff that has been happening. I'm sure their insurance costs have also gone up by a lot. I think once that next technology releases, again, I'm going to be putting most of my capital into things that technology is going to be the most useful for. And it's all going to be based on analysis and heavy research, and I'm not going to commit to anything early, and I'm not doing anything right now. Like I said, I need to know what that technology is going to be like, what it's going to affect, and what's going to happen. Otherwise, like I said, you could be building right now and putting all your eggs in all these baskets, and in 6 months' time, when GPT-5 releases, it's all completely destroyed. All your eggs are crushed. You have no basket. It's got holes in it. Like the entire thing is screwed. So I'm more concerned about that future. And also, genuinely, I believe that OpenAI, as we've seen recently with some of their releases that they've been doing, they are seeing things like Perplexity. They are seeing all of these giant things like Cursor, all of these giant SaaS models that are just eating up revenue. And bear in mind, they're probably earning some of that revenue anyway in the OpenAI API fees for some of these business models. But why would they want the API fees when they can get the whole damn pipe, right? So I think that they'll move more and more and more into some of these other areas. And because they have the biggest monthly active user base by far, like I think it's like 80 million monthly active users, something ChatGPT right now, which is just, I think Gemini's at 2 million, right? It's like we're in different ball games at this point, right? Because they have 80 million users, they can immediately have more monthly active users than any of these other tools straight away by just adding a feature to the existing subscription.
Yeah.
So I completely think that OpenAI have positioned themselves in an absolutely incredible way. And I think a lot of SaaS owners, a lot of founders, a lot of business people, even developers to some extent, will be very surprised come next year. And I think we really need to be looking at A, building out capital for when that happens, B, trying to make sure that our businesses there's some sort of moat against those models, but it's very hard to know. If you don't know their capabilities, it's very hard to know what to protect against, right? And C, being ready and prepared to put our time and energy and effort into that model as soon as it releases. As soon as GPT-5 comes out, I'm not sleeping for 3 days, right? Like
sure.
That's
same.
Yeah.
Same.
4.5 should be out in the next few months. So 4.5 will be the bridge between the two. Honestly, Charles, I'm with you considering what happened to the first generation of tools for content generation like Jasper. We know that those kind of tools were fucked up immediately. And so for sure, this will happen every time they release a new model, even if OpenAI demonstrated not to be so product oriented. The other companies like Perplexity and also Anthropic were better in proposing new interfaces, or the canvas was copied by the artifacts. So other companies with less
questionable there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's different. But what I think that some of the applications, I mean, the content generation will not be a thing for sure. At some point, you will do it inside one of these model interfaces. The products, the way they try to productize their models, but selling API access will always be a big part of their revenue stream. And so I think the building on top of them, even right now, if you just avoid to think about the new content generator, okay, maybe there is some little spaces on the market for selling it to your parents and relatives, but yeah, they will be disrupted at some point. If you work with data analysis, is different because, in my opinion, because it's not big as a niche to be interesting for a company to deliver a product to sell to a market. So if you build your SaaS for a very vertical specific small niche, you should be fine. But if you work for content or anything that now is just a commodity, this will be even more a commodity in the future. So you have to avoid what they will do as a product because it's enough mainstream to be worth building a product on it. You they try to figure out applications leveraging AI models that are not for big niches, in my opinion.
Yeah, and actually they did first steps introducing GPT Canvas like 2 weeks ago. It's a great tool, and even this one and extra features and extra, let's say, options in there is a game-changing game for coders, developers, content writers, and etc. So yeah. I have to run in like 5 minutes. I want to say one thing or two things. First of all, for sure, something will happen in OpenAI because next month we have the anniversary of ChatGPT, and also maybe they will introduce something new. And actually, I think yesterday, and Anthropic introduced update of the models.
Yeah.
So OpenAI have to do some
Huge.
steps, and I expect it in say following days or weeks. But Charles mentioned the cost of the training. It's true. The cost is rising, but I have the quite interesting information. I already shared it with Vlad. Vlad, could you share it with the audience, this link? Google introduced the idea of using AI to predict and build brand new chips for deliver the AI inference. And it's same like for pharmaceuticals or materials or whatever they use AI for. And they started to predict brand new chips, and the cost of training in the future should decrease. And if they deliver new chips and use their own one instead of NVIDIA one, for sure the acceleration of the process will speed up immediately. And they are already working on it. So Vlad, please share the link. Maybe it's interesting for someone.
I think the main thing with the cost of training is that, so far from what I understand, we basically trained all models on all existing human text, right? So exactly. the realm that we haven't trained on is video, and video becomes significantly more expensive to compute train on than so that's why training costs are going up as well, is because actually now we're having to train on more expensive materials. And a lot of the time what they're doing is they're doing double layered training, because they're using the original training to create synthetic material to then train again on to get an even better output, right? So it's actually they're going from like one initial training to actually doubling down on the same thing, but with even more data than the first pair did.
Synthetic data is risky. The academic community doesn't agree around the idea of massively employing.
Well, so O1 was trained on synthetic data, right? It was
they're still at a big part, but the point is that the quality over time can decrease. Like we have an example with Midjourney. Midjourney is retrained over the generations, and this created a flattening of the styles of the generation, because the more pictures and styles are represented by the user generating them, the more you will have them in the next outputs from a model that is trained on the same data. So it's the actual way they are trying to expand the corpus of text they have, because it's finished. They just rely on social networks. This is why, in my opinion, Elon Musk bought Twitter, just because it has a lot of fresh content to train onto. But a model trained essentially on social media, we want that? I don't know. The point is that in a few years, we will see new architectures. That is the big point. Transformer demonstrated to be efficient in allowing the creation of models that are showing new capabilities, just expanding the quantity of information and data that we put inside it. But it's not efficient on the costs aspect, because the infrastructure, the hardware behind it has to grow at the same time when the data part grows. So what I think we'll see, it's not only new chips, but also new architecture. So you mean
that they will replace the architecture of transformers?
Transformers, like Black Mamba or other architectures that are still in testing phases, but they are there, and the results seems to be amazing. So Transformers is not here to stay.
And what you were saying about power earlier as well, Robert, is a lot of the reason we can't achieve the significant growth that we're doing is because of the current power systems. So
that is the point. The bottleneck is there until they'll do. But think of it. Bill Gates, it's maybe 20 years that is working on micro power generators. It's not, 20 years ago, I just had this idea. And now it's pushing hard to have authorization to build them. But the power is the real bottleneck, because it's regulated by governments. It's the only point. Even in the US, where everything is not regulated, the power is. So it's not money the point. You cannot say, I want to have enough energy like for Dallas, but just for my data center. It's not possible. And so until they will produce the energy by themselves, it will be always a struggle, a fight between them and governments.
But the race already started, as I mentioned, with Microsoft example and Google example.
Microsoft, again, it's 20 years that they are researching, but they never built even a prototype. Now
I think Google has a prototype for 2030, 2035, a mini reactor. They released it the other day, I think.
But not in a scale they should, in a totally different scale. But the technology is there. I don't know.
The new data set, the next gen data centers as well. I think a lot of people don't realize the scale of these things as well. Like we're talking significantly bigger than basically any human construction that we've ever created in history as well.
Like Manhattan Project, like Manhattan Project.
I think bigger, because the OpenAI data center that they're talking about is 100 times bigger than the current biggest data center in the world, right? And just for that floor space, right? Unless you started layering things on top of each other, it would take up like, I think a tenth of the state of Arizona. So it was ridiculous at the scale that they wanted to do this thing at, because you had to basically put it on different floors and stuff. And there's not enough power in the world to power it at the moment. So we are going to need to massively invest in nuclear, massively invest in potentially like solar farms that are just insanely used and stuff like that.
One interesting information, and I want to run. I mentioned the Manhattan Project because during the Manhattan Project, the factory which enriched the plutonium and uranium was the biggest building in the world.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
How did the Russians not see that from space?
It was during Second World War. I guess they haven't got the satellite yet.
They didn't have the eye yet in the sky.
Yeah.
Okay, guys,
right,
I have
Robert,
to run.
I understand
Continue.
you have to
It's
run.
great talk. Take care, and I hope see you soon. I need to run. Sorry, guys. Take care.
Yeah, thank
you very much,
Rob. See you around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I love the nerd out aspect of this conversation. Wow.
The scale is an interesting point in general, even in the SEO space. Many of SEOs trying to describe how Google works and think of technologies like vector embeddings, similarity, and those kind of things. They don't really have the idea of what this means on a scale on which Google operates. So a lot of technologies that are totally there, we can use them with a simple script, but we cannot immediately imply that Google is using them. It's not. The understanding capabilities of our search engines are still limited. Exact matching is the core of information retrieval, and semantic similarity, cosine similarity between vectors is not able to do exact matching. So when even in the patents or in the leak, we read vectors, it doesn't mean the vectors that we use today in machine learning and AI. So the dense vectors, the learned vectors that are generated by models trained on a huge extension of data. They are sparse vectors. Even TF-IDF, BM25, information retrieval algorithm, they generate sparse vectors. They are vectors, but totally different, because many of the positions are just zero. And when I listen SEO saying, okay, you have your query, you scrape the first 10 pages, and you calculate the semantic similarity between the query and the pages, and so you know which is the page that is more aligned to the query. But matching a whole text to a single sentence using semantic similarity is nonsense. Because if your blog is vertical, you always publish on the same topic, all the pages will be similar from a semantic similarity perspective. So you should work on a different granular level, like the passages or the sentences. So SEOs tend to simplify things to just catch something from the patents or whatever, and to create a storytelling and narration that is marketable, but it's not really the way Google can work. Maybe in a re-ranking process, in AI overview, the first results are then read and synthesized by an LLM, sure. But information retrieval part is there, and it will stay there forever until we have a system based on semantic that can do the exact match. That is, again, the core. Okay, we can understand similar things, we can provide the right answer, even if there are not the words on the query, but it's for queries that are not common, and so we are guessing. But otherwise, the first way for anchoring the pre-selection from a huge index of the results you should analyze better is a match from the keyword, the query, to the text. That's it. And this is why in our experience, we know that a page can be written with a lot of gibberish and be indexed anyway. There is not this capability to understand like an LLM understands. Even BERT is a totally different thing. And it's not used to read a page and understand something. When Google says we have a site level vector, it means that they know which are the topics of the site, because they have like a TF-IDF and they have a sparse vector with thousands of position, almost zeros, and 20 words. The 20 words represent the site. So they know that the site is about MMA, and you insert a page about roulettes. At some point, they know that there is this mismatch from the new page and the usual content you publish. But it's not that they store the website in a vector database. Google is struggling to store in a normal index. They have to use our disks to freeze the content that is not accessed usually, frequently. And you think that they can vectorize billions of pages and store them. There are not vector databases so big, or is something so secret that we don't have an idea, but it's not the case. So stop thinking that now the search engines are working like an LLM when we upload a document and ask it to extract a paragraph about. It's a totally different process. And I know this just because I have a catch and understanding of the scale. Once you start building SaaS on your servers, you will understand something more about the scale. Your local machine is a thing. If you have to serve 100, 1,000 users, and it's nothing, you have to move to a different approach, framework, whatever, and you have to limit the resources, or even a millisecond of a calculation is important. So don't think that Google reads like Gemini reads. It's different, totally different.
Yeah, there's no tokenization, there's no prediction going on.
Exactly. Not at all. Not at all. But many SEOs are teaching like that.
I know. Unfortunately, a lot of people tend to also nowadays put stuff into ChatGPT or put it into Gemini, ask it a question, it then completely hallucinates the answer, and then that's now their understanding of SEO. And I'm like,
exactly.
Number one, that could have also just been pulled from training data from like a forum post from 2008.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's so far stretched. And I also think that a lot of people tend to, I get the same question actually, where people tend to ask me, how does Google work? And I always ask them, have you got, 12 hours to sit down and go through 24 different systems? And then maybe we can have some understanding. And then bear in mind, even if we do go through all of these different systems and we actually have found all the different systems that Google is even using right now, which I don't think is publicly available, right? how do they interact with each other? How do they overlap? What are the actual prioritizations? What is the tiering system? What are the assigning? We have no idea. So exactly, it's all just theorization. Like we can, to some extent, we can use the Google leaks to basically confirm our testing data. But I also know Google and know for a fact that the August update just went and tweaked a bunch of additional signals and things that probably aren't even in that original Google leaks document. So yeah, and also I don't think that anybody at Google themselves, any of the engineers that is, truly know deep down how all of these different systems interact with each other and if they actually are convoluting each other. This is another thing, right?
The orchestration is the true secret part.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody knows, to be honest.
Yeah. It's the orchestration part. You can have an idea of each separate model, but until you weight them or know how they interact, you don't have anything.
No. Yeah.
You can focus on something that is totally not relevant in the whole system.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I hear the Google police background coming for us.
Well, gentlemen, this was a terrific conversation, and well, I don't know. Even I need some time to process everything and just get back to the recording and re-listen to certain parts of it, because I mean it's really full of information, like really interesting and great. And if you're a business owner or practicing SEO or entrepreneur of any sorts, just I don't know, to wrap things up, I think you should just take advantage of the technology and its advancements, and just follow the trends, to not miss out and to not fall out of the game. And then whenever something new springs up, just invest in it, like Charlie said. Just whatever works, whatever looks to be the next big thing, just double down on investing into it. Before we finish, tomorrow, Conversion Collective, that we're doing the promo with right now here at Odys, they're having a live Q&A with Alex Drew, founder and CEO of Odys Global. I don't remember the exact time. I think it's 1 p.m. Or 2 p.m. Yeah, 1 p.m. BST, which is British summertime.
Yeah.
So it's basically at this hour, but tomorrow. so just go to conversions.so and you'll find the events tab whenever you sign up for either free or paid account. If you want a paid account that we will gladly sponsor for you, just get it at least $2,500 worth of domains from us, or deposit the funds, and we'll sponsor your access for the entire year to Conversion Collective. And you'll also get unlimited access to all the live in-person meetups throughout the year, throughout the world, hosted by us. The next one is going to be in Chiang Mai. So if you want to make it there, just make sure to take advantage of this offer. And yeah, guys, thank you for joining. It was terrific. It was great. Enjoyed every minute of it. Hope you did too. It's always a huge, great pleasure to have you on the show. All right. So everyone else, see you here next time. Just follow us on social media, like this video, share it to your friends, colleagues, partners, whoever you want to, and just learn from the best as always. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.